right now is tips on working on G.I. Joe thumbs. As you can see right here, this one, as I got, is a normal thumb. Just needs a little bit of sanding down and of course some repainting. Usually I like to use the Tamiya acrylic paints because they actually do a nice job of sticking with the plastic here. And what I've been doing is I've been working on thumbs like so. And this one is actually another one and that I'm working on for a client. As you can see, the thumb right now, I'll pull it back a little bit. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. So I got to repaint it now because what I was using was wire method and Milliput. This one wasn't too bad because it was actually broken in half. So I was able to put a little bit of wire in there, and of course I was able to sand it down just to get them really close to each other here. And okay, we're fighting here. Anyways, that's what's going on, as you can see. And of course, this is actually from the Slaughters Marauders. I believe my client actually got it from his spirit figure, but other than that, they look in pretty decent shape. So just gotta touch them up, paint them up, and usually I like to put a little bit of tape right here, so that way, in case you get any milliput, you don't want to have it go anywhere farther than where you need to go on that. And I am currently working on another item, which is actually this guy right here. So I'm actually doing that also for my client. And as you can see that there is the milliput right here. The thing about it with these guys from 92 is that the plastic is just slightly different. As you can see, it's a little bit kind of like translucent in a way. And I usually tried to get the wire method going in here. So I'm still got a little bit more work to do. It is kind of thick, but you can work it out. And of course, people wondering how to work it out is actually using some needle files. And the needle files that I use is actually this right here, which I'm dropping on the floor because I'm holding it upside down, but that happens once in a great while. But I usually carry like these needle files. They're about 4 inches, and I actually got these for about $10 on Amazon. And usually they've been very, very helpful. And the type that I usually use for the thumbs, actually, I'll show you in just a moment while I try to rearrange my stuff, is actually, I always use a flat, like so. And then, of course, I always use the round one, like right here. Kind of like a little reaming bar. And the thing about that with that reaming bar is you want to make sure that when you're actually getting in there, you want to make sure that you put it like so. So that way you can run it back and forth. So then that way you can shave off some of the milliput. So then that way you can get it close to where you want it to be on these thumbs, like so. These are about $10 on Amazon. And I would also suggest using like a pattern from a Joe that's actually working very well. And what you might want to do is you want to probably get like a Joe like this. So that way you can follow the measurements of the thumb of how it goes. Like right here. Sometimes you might want to put a little curvature on that wire before you get started putting any type of milliput or any of that green stuff. So then that would actually be your guide. So always make sure you have a template. And that's what I usually go by. So as you can see, let me go ahead and pull up these guys right here. Like so. So that way you have a nice little template. So that way you get it as close to the way they work. Like I said, the only thing about it, recapping of that is with this guy is that the plastic is just slightly different. So you might want to be patient when you're actually using a actual pin vise, because the pin vise is going to actually, it might slip a little bit, but always use like something like a punch just to go in there, just to make a hole to start it off. So then that way you can drill it a lot better. And if you're not sure what a pin vise looks like, let me show ya. Okay, that's what I use right here, this little guy, the pin vise. So then that way, make sure that you can always get one of these either online or pretty much at any hobby shop or location if you have one in your area. And like I said, when I was mentioning about putting a hole in it, yeah, this owl would come in handy. And then, of course, all you have to do is just poke it in like right where it's broken, so then that way it can grab on with the pin vise. And I was just like working this out. Like I said, I have a client that, so I'm trying to get this done. And I just want to say hello out there to a couple of you guys that popped in. Okay, Xander Pierre. Hello, Xander. Okay, how you guys doing? Wait, well, I am not going to answer you right there. So that is like really, really, really not nice of you to say that. So maybe you should just find another channel to pop in on then, while I'm trying to actually do some demonstration here. So as you can see, so yeah, this is actually kind of faded, but this isn't mine. So that's it for now. Anyways, hello. Let's see. Anyways. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we got right here. And always make sure you get the right type of paints too. Like I said, always use acrylic paints. So then that way you can keep at it. So then that way you can make sure that they actually bond to the type of plastic that you're using. It doesn't matter if you're airbrushing it. It doesn't matter if you're actually using actual paint brushes on it too. And always good to make sure, like, put either like a clear coat or maybe like a dull coat, depending on how your projects are going. Well, that's it for now. Everybody have a great afternoon and a great weekend. And I'll be talking to you all later. Have a good one. Pit Viper 327 signing off.